My teacher, Pinchas Zukerman, always said, all of life is tension and release, and definitely the violin is tension and release. If I feel physically the way that I want to sound musically, it works really well. This part of your finger is the break in your vibrato. I have this other really strong belief that beauty projects. To play off the string, you have to play in the string. My favorite moment as a teacher is when I get chills because of the way the students played. I just had the thought, like, these are not kids that are on screens all day, obviously.
Hi everyone, and welcome to today's Masterclass. I'm really excited about this one because our guest is someone who has had a huge impact on me personally, Alexander Woods. Alex was my main teacher through most of my college years. The wisdom he shared went far beyond the violin, and you'll hear that same depth of thought come through in this masterclass. He studied with the great Pinchas Zukerman at the Manhattan School of Music, and later at Yale with Shoko Aki and Robert Neely. Today, he's a professor of violin at Brigham Young University, where he's also the founder of the BYU Baroque Ensemble, a group that performs on Baroque instruments. Even after studying with him for 5 years, I still learned a lot of new things in this masterclass, and I'm sure you will too.
Wonderful, Lizzie, wonderful. How long have you been playing this piece?
3 months, 2 months, 3 months.
Okay, so you've had some time to get inside it, and somebody really smart, I don't know who, if it was you or David, has some words to help get the mood here. Tranquil.
It was David.
David. And then at the end it says Bob Ross.
Yep.
Okay, good. So I'm picturing some happy trees in here. Is that right? Oh, that's great. Okay, well, this is an incredible piece, and this is a grown-up piece to play, right? This is not, I mean, there are plenty of Bach movements where you can approach it and within a pretty short amount of time, you can have a good sense of articulation and phrasing and know what to do. I think this piece is one of those long-term pieces where hopefully you just keep coming back to it, and your younger self will remind you to some certain things that you learned, and then your older self will have learned some more things, and you just get to know it better. So I feel like the chaconne is like that too. You have to start the chaconne at some point because it's so hard, you need multiple drafts, right? So this is one of those pieces, and I think you have an incredible foundation for this piece. So there's a bunch of different things we can talk about. Do you want to start with, I'll give you a choice, choose your own adventure. Do you want to start with something technical, or do you want to start with something musical?
Musical.
Okay, nice. That's great. Okay, so musically, what you have all these great words. How do you know how to phrase this? How do you know what to do with this? Like when you approach a piece of music like this, you think, okay, starting point, beginning, where's the end of the first phrase, this is what I'm going to do. Like how do you decide how to do something musically, especially in Baroque music?
Like where the line of the notes goes.
Okay, so do you mean like contour?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so contour is amazing, right? You already see here, right? Dum, da 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 ya da da ya da da. So that's great. What else? Contour is a really good place to start. How else do you know how to phrase?
I think there's like the different bowings, because like the bottom note's broken up between lots of different bowings.
Right.
So like figuring out like how to best get those to sound uniform.
Okay, great. So that's kind of an articulation thing, but articulation is a very musical thing in Baroque, especially in this piece. So great, articulation, contour, those are both really important parameters in finding your expression. There's another one that's kind of circled here and here that, again, some genius teacher pointed out.
The notes.
The notes. So he has circled dissonances, right? These are moments where you have a big dissonance. Name the #1 Baroque composer that liked dissonance. J.S. Bach, I'll do it for you. J.S. Bach. He loved dissonance. He was so unafraid of putting that in his pieces. Other Baroque composers were a little, I'm not sure if I want that much dissonance. And guess who we're playing there? We're playing Bach, because he could create tension and hold it for long periods of time. And because of that, it's interesting, right? So these are really the biggest moments harmonically where you think, that's gotta be special. I've gotta make sure that's special. So that means that maybe some of these other things aren't as special, right? So this one especially, when you get here, minor 7, and then a perfect fourth, which is a dissonance in the Baroque era. We might not think of that. And then we're relaxed because we're back at the consonant. So let's try something. I want you to play this first phrase. You asked for this, right? Remember, you asked for musical. So I want you to think of just 2 things right now. We're not going to approach the articulation because actually that gets a little bit technical. So we'll talk about that in a second. But let's do contour. Really focus on that contour. So when the notes go up, come up in dynamic. When they go down in dynamic. But make sure that this note, these dissonant notes, this one and this one, are the whole point of your phrase. Is like leaning into and savoring that dissonance. Okay? Try that first phrase. even more risk. There's nobody here telling you how fast to go. Nobody's gonna say you took too much time. Nobody's gonna say you played too soft. Nobody's gonna say you played too loud. Okay? You have full range. Try it one more time. Take bigger risks. Did anybody think she took too much time? No, I don't think so either. I don't think you played too soft and you played too loud. So you have this huge range, and in Bach, especially in this lower range here, you're gonna need to make it really obvious or they won't get it. Because we're in a room full of violinists here, so you guys do practice multiple hours a day. But most audience members do not practice multiple hours of violin a day. They just wanna be uplifted by the music, right? Okay, good. I think this one right here, this dissonance, probably isn't a... You can take your time with that. But this one is huge. Okay, now let's go on. This next phrase, what are the important points here? Where are you leading to here?
We're leading to that second. Right there.
Yeah,
And
great.
that one right there.
Great, okay. And then what's your overall mood?
I think it's kind of the same as the beginning, just a little bit brighter because it's like higher in the string.
Okay, good. It could be, or it could be a huge change. What would happen if this was a different world, right? You had a huge cadence here. So this is the other big thing in Baroque music. Phrasing is built around cadences. So you finally had a resting point. It took 3 long measures, but what if that was really, really different? Like a different world. You're driving around a corner in southern Utah and you come around a bend and suddenly there's this huge valley and it's totally different. Like the landscape changes so much, right? What if this could be really different? You ended really big here. Da 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 da. What if you tried something a little bit different there? Because we need more variety. That would be the number one thing in musically, is that you played this beautifully, very like overall very in tune, just gorgeous, but there wasn't a lot of variety in the sound and the musicality, right? So let's make it a little bit more obvious, right? If you don't feel it, I guarantee they won't feel it. If it doesn't feel really different to you, it probably won't feel different to them, right? Okay, let's try, we don't have to go all the way back, but try from your love note there. Different world, okay? So how do you make this, how do you change the color? If the color is more dense here, how do you change the color here?
Move it closer to the fingerboard.
Okay, great. And if you move it closer to the fingerboard, what do you have to do to your bow speed to make it sound pretty?
Speed it up.
Yes, that's the ratio. So if you can do that, let's try that. Good, good. I actually think it's maybe we're not doing too much. And it really doesn't start till here. Take your time. Make sure they know the color is going to change. It doesn't have to be a shock. them get into it. Yes. Woo. Good. Good. So my favorite moment as a teacher is when I get chills because of the way the students played. When I can have an emotional reaction. And you guys know that you can't actually control goosebumps physically. Like try to say, goosebumps now. Can't do it. It is an involuntary reaction that your body makes, right? And so that's an incredible thing as a musician that you could do it to them. They can't do it to themselves, right? They can't make it. But the way you play could give them goosebumps. That's really cool. And I think having a really good color change is a way to do that, right? So what I would suggest is, there's so many different ways to do this, but I'm a big believer that if you want to figure out how to interpret a piece of music, you need to look at the parameters that the music is made of. And you did so great at that, Lizzie. You said immediately contour, articulation, and then we talked about harmony. Those three things in Baroque music are paramount, especially articulation and harmony. So important, right? So you've got something circled here, but I'm not sure it's en tu corazón. I'm not sure it's in your heart yet, right? I think you're like, okay, I know I'm supposed to do something here, but I don't know if it's like, oh, I'm Lizzie and I'm gonna do it, right? Like you need to feel like, oh, I can't wait to do that. I'm gonna break people's hearts when I do that, okay? Promise, cross your heart, you'll do that? Okay, great. Do we have any time? It's about time. Okay, bravo, Lizzie. Great, you got it. Yeah. Wonderful. Okay. how long have you been working on this?
Probably 8 months.
8 months, okay, awesome. What do you know about Corelli?
I don't know much about him, actually.
He was like a superstar, actually. Just a total superstar violinist. And his Opus 5 set of violin sonatas were, I think, republished 40 times after they were like so important. Everybody played these pieces and loved them. He influenced so many other composers. So Corelli was a big deal. And he was very famous for his ability to improvise and just make up lines on the spot. In fact, there's a version of the Opus 5 sonatas where you can get what they think he did written on top of what he wrote. So he wrote pretty basic stuff, but then he improvised crazy stuff on top. So what you're seeing here is kind of some written out improvisations and that kind of thing, but it's basically to show off. Like this stuff here, this, like that was just total improvisatory stuff. So I think you're doing a good job of getting the like showmanship of this piece. I think you're doing great with that. I think you're projecting that out. That's really, really awesome. So I want to talk about a few technical things and then we'll get into some musical things. But can you guys just start it one more time? I'll stop you. Just start it again. Great, BG. Great. Okay, when you play that first note, I want you to kind of experiment until you find the maximum ring on just that first note. No vibrato. Okay, amazing. Now the next note. Play out a tune to find it. Good, try too high. Higher. I want you to play out a tune. Good, now back down. And lower, now find it. Feels so good, doesn't it? To play in tune, yeah. So I think sometimes we are so afraid of playing out of tune that we're unwilling to even check where we are, like properly. And actually, I think there's value in going beyond sometimes and to feel what kinds of vibrations we get when it's actually really out. Because what happens is we end up playing really close most of the time and not actually hitting the center. Now, you played very in tune, but there were a few places where it was like super close, but not quite in the center. And that comes from actually knowing, oh, that was a little too high, that was a little too low, and I've recognized it, like I've actually heard it. And now I'm in that ring spot and it feels so good. You obviously have a great ear, BJ, and you could tell when it was like, I mean, I had to force you to play out of tune. You're like, I won't do it. But finding that ring feels so good, right? Because it makes you, the violin gets louder. You probably know that, maybe you don't, maybe you do, that vibrato was even in the Baroque era, it was a very controversial subject. There's some people think, oh, Baroque era, we don't vibrate a lot, or those guys didn't vibrate a lot and they were wrong, we should vibrate a lot. There was all sorts of disagreements even in the Baroque era. Like some people really liked a lot of vibrato, some people didn't. It still came down to personal taste. But I think in general, everybody agreed that vibrato was an ornament. It was something to beautify a note and to beautify a phrase. So I love to practice without vibrato. And I would recommend, BJ, that you go through this whole thing and a whole draft of this when you practice without vibrato to find the truest, most beautiful intonation on every single note and see how incredible you can make it without vibrato. Okay, have you ever done that? Ever practiced that way?
Probably not through a whole piece, but through maybe a few sections.
Spots and things. Okay, great, yeah. So I would do a whole draft and see what like, be a sensitive practicer, see what kind of comes up. It might be that you're like, whoa, I want to reevaluate where I put that note, or wow, I don't actually have to play as loud there because I'm getting so much ring. Or there's all sorts of things that I discover just by serendipity by taking the vibrato out. Maybe I want to change my bow stroke now that I've got less vibrato. I'm not getting the kind of articulation that I want, right? So I want you to try it once, the first phrase with no vibrato. And don't, like, seriously don't sweat it if it's not perfectly in tune. I want you... because I want you to search for the note. So if you have to spend time... play without the piano once. So you're gonna just search for that beautiful ring. Yes. Yes. Good. C. Yep. Ring, ring, ring. Find the ring. Ah, amazing. Good. Now next note, F. Beautiful. Okay, good. You get the idea. It's shocking how much time I spend doing this when I practice. And if you've ever watched Hilary Hahn practice, very, very similar. So let's try it now with the piano. And I want you to stay with no vibrato, but see how beautiful and full you can make it. Can I play it with you once, Denise? Put it back in, but I want to see how great you can make it without it first. Search for the sound. Good, try just that last little bit again. There you go, good, good. Okay, and one just real quick technical thing. If your hand gets too rounded, then you're pulling the fingers away from the fingerboard, and you're gonna have to move your position. So to keep a good frame, you generally want a straight line from this knuckle down. Every hand is a little bit different, but this helps keep you. So I'm not gonna say it has to be a perfect straight line. Maybe yours has a little bit more roundedness to it, but you don't wanna get too far this way, okay? Okay. Good. Let's try it one more time now with vibrato, but just an ornament, just a little bit of vibrato to enhance that beautiful ringing sound that you already have, okay? Beautiful, BJ, beautiful. That was great intonation, great. So the vibrato, you have a great vibrato, but sometimes the vibrato takes over and we use it as this way of getting all of our expression, and then the intonation can suffer a little bit. So I want you to make sure that you have great intonation before. Okay, how much time do we have? Darn it. Okay, just a little bit more. So yeah, I loved all this stuff, and David, you probably have a very good reason for this, but I'd love for some of these passages for you to try to start working in some off the string. So right now, everything is martelé. Basically, when you have these martelé passages, you have a great martelé, but be nice to experiment with just certain parts being able to start using that brush stroke and that spiccato. Have you done this much, BJ? Have you done any spiccato? A little bit? Yeah, bravo, yeah. So getting a really good sense of dropping the bow. It's weird, to play off the string, you have to play in the string. It's weird, right? You think off the string, I've got to be up here. Actually, you're really in the string. But like a basketball, the harder you bounce a basketball, the faster it'll come back to you and the harder it'll come back. So if you really drop it, it's going to come back. So work on these passages. It'd be great for you to work on that. Both ways, actually. There's a lot of Kreutzer etudes where you should practice it. Spiccato brushstroke and martelé. So both of these passages, I would practice both ways so that you're developing that. But excellent work on this piece. Great job, BJ. Beautiful. Good job. All right. Okay, now it's Franck Fest. So, so is this like a studio project? Is that kind of the idea, or did this just happen?
Oh, it's a little, I mean, we planned it. This
Planned. You guys are so in sync.
We're like, you know,
Okay.
everybody got a different movement.
Cool. That's really fun. Okay. Great. And you got the first one, Michelle. Awesome. Okay.
Oh, it's a little, I mean, we planned it. This was something that we learned after auditions. We're like, oh, you know, so everybody got a different movement.
Beautiful playing, Michelle.
Thanks.
Beautiful. Okay. What's the big challenge of this piece?
I think a lot of it is just finding the right color.
Okay. Yeah, color.
A lot of the intonation, there's weird kind of interval.
Yep.
Yeah, and then it's also repetitive, so you want to find ways to make it different throughout.
Mm-hmm. Great. You've hit a lot of important things. How about just the overarching kind of shape of the movement? I don't know if there's any piece that has this long of a build for the climax, right? Like it's you know, and he doesn't give a ton of information, right? It's like molto dolce at the beginning, sempre dolce a few lines later. We got a couple little decrescendos, più crescendo, pianissimo, molto ritardo. Like there's not a lot of guidance, right? And so much of that ability, we talked about tension in the Bach. I feel like this piece is building tension over a very long period of time and then release, right? And my teacher, Pinchas Zukerman, always said, all of life is tension and release, and definitely the violin is tension and release. You're trying to find these moments of tension and release. And in this movement, it's like on a grand macro scale, right? In the Bach, it was smaller, right? So being able to do that is really tricky. And I think you're doing a great job, but I think maybe we need to experiment with how we can play dolce and if we can keep up that dolce a little bit longer, and then moments where we might need to hold the tension a little bit more so that this climax makes sense. Because sometimes it's like, I mean, we have this pianist, but it's almost like, wait, we're doing a climax right now? Really? We're gonna do that right now? Like that doesn't seem like the right time. So let's start it again. And I love the color you got, but I think you can, keep it. Be really brave. Like, I loved, you can have a lot of variety within that, but stay that molto dolce, because he does say sempre dolce, right?
Okay.
Stay pretty. Yeah. Try it.
Okay.
Good. Yeah, so to me that's a little too this is like a dream. This is like a dream.
Yeah.
Suddenly I was out of the dream, right? Stay in that world. So I'm playing Symphony Fantastique tonight, Berlioz with the Utah Symphony. The whole symphony is based on a dream. So you have these moments that really pop out, but I love that idea that you can evoke this sort of dreamlike state. So you had the right instinct to get a little louder there, but not so in your face, right? Try it again. And special vibrato.
Okay.
Like make your teacher get goosebumps, right?
Okay.
Just, oh my goodness. Beautiful, keep it up though. Hold the tension, hold the tension, hold the tension. Yeah, so those notes, the first time, it was almost like two different things, but yeah, keep it. That was great before then. Really nice. Let's go from, and then really hold it. Yeah? Good. Okay, so what happens this measure? This is where he writes sempre dolce, right? Yeah. Probably could have come up with something better than still dolce, but I think it because it goes into a totally new register.
Yeah.
Will you just practice your flautando with me? Good, and loosen this too. Oh, yeah. In general, I find that if I feel physically the way that I want to sound musically, it works really well. So if I'm trying to sound dolce, dream state, and I'm a little tense here, probably won't work, right? Good. You know that this part of your finger is it's the break in your vibrato. So the motor is either in your arm or in your wrist or in a combination of the two. And in general, I really like the combination because this doesn't have to move very much and then the wrist can be really loose, right? So right there, take your foot off the brake. Just kind of let it be loose. Instead of, that's more of a brake. You're using your brake. Yeah, good. Okay, I know we have to pack it in. I'm so sorry. I need 2 hours for each of you. It's really easy to never vibrate the eighth note. We have quarter, eighth quarter, eighth quarter. Right, so easy. It's not always bad, but sometimes I think it'd be nicer to vibrate the whole phrase. And that's going to be easier if you've got that really relaxed feel. Let's start from the top again, because I want you to get to that sempre dolce. But let's just experiment. Don't be like, I have to vibrate the eighth notes. I want you just to feel like this is freer and it's more in the character that you're trying to produce musically.
Okay.
Beautiful, yes. Say. Beautiful, enjoy it. Good. I love it. What a good instinct. But honestly, he doesn't say to get a lot louder here.
Yeah.
And we have a long way to go, like a really long way to go before that climax. So that was gorgeous before that, Michelle. You can still enjoy it. Enjoy that note. Stay there. It takes a lot of courage to stay there, but it's going to be worth it in the end. This is like, as a parent now of 5 kids, I'm just like, this concept of delayed gratification is just so tough, you know? But it's true. Like, just wait a little longer. It's that marshmallow thing, right? That if they just take the 2 marshmallows. Yeah. Okay. Let's try it one more time. Maybe. Yeah. Let's do right from. I loved your vibrato there. Did you love it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And don't be afraid to use a little more bow. Yeah. That feeling of this hand loose, this hand loose. And then right here it could be tempting. Think special instead of loud.
Okay.
Okay? Special. Beautiful. Wait. I don't think there should be ever a silence in this whole page.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, good. That's another one of those points where you've built this incredible tension. Don't let it go. I heard.
Yeah, I think I just let it
Yeah, it sort of.
come down too much. And
Yeah, and then you kind of restart it. I don't think it's a. I don't think it's a restart. And you can wait. You can hold that. Finally. So, at the molto retard, that's the moment, the first moment, I think, where you can think,
Like,
okay,
for sure.
it's time to start. You know?
Okay.
And then your scroll should get up here. And every amount of arm weight. And then you should start crying, ideally. Ideally, you start crying right there. Okay, let's do, maybe not. Let's do, yes. More intense. Scroll up, scroll up. Yes, lean back, scroll up. Awesome. Okay, good. Oh, it's so fun, isn't it? So fun. I love this piece. I had one other thought. Yeah, so it says, it's a really interesting tempo marking, Allegretto ben moderato. So Allegretto, so we think of this as, I think it's kind of, you hear it, you're like, oh, it's a slow movement, right? Allegretto, he's not saying fast, right? But one, da, da, yum, ba, da. So make sure that as you go to the end, that even with the retard, it's still Allegretto, right? You're still not going too crazy. Okay, and then the last thing was, yes, AEB, AEB, always enough bow. Always enough bow. So that in those moments where you want to hold the tension,
Yeah.
you could do it forever if you needed to. But if you feel like, oh, dang it, I'm out of bow, well, I won't be expressive there. Like, you need to always have the option to be expressive, right? So playing it beautifully. So map out a little bit more both of these huge climax moments so that you hold the tension even in that dolce and that dream state the whole way until it's really time to go. And then when you go, people are going to lose their minds out there. It's awesome. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. That's great. bravo, 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 bravo. First of all, thank you, Denise. We had Eugene Watanabe came and did a masterclass at BYU a couple weeks ago, and he's got to be one of the few people that can say this, where he was coaching a Beethoven sonata and said, well, I've played both of these parts many, many times, and he said the piano part for the Beethoven sonatas takes about 4 to 5 times as long to learn as the violin part, so probably for this one it might be 10 times as long. Anyway, they're both very, very hard parts, and Kate, you're doing great. How long have you had this piece? Is this kind of a new, old?
3 weeks.
Yeah, new piece, right? Yeah. First time playing in public, probably. Yeah, great job. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's amazing. Good. No, that's really hard. It's a hard piece to put together. You know, this music is so deep and rich. It's incredible. It's actually less about. There's some pieces that are totally about the violin. Like what? What do you think? Like some pieces that are. This is about the violin. Vinyavski, Paganini, right? Look at that violinist, right? This piece is not really about the violin or the piano. It's about art. It's like music. Look at all the art all over this house, you know? Like this is very pictorial and evocative and imaginative and fantasy. It's incredible, right? And so, oh my gosh, and you have incredible eyes. You reading out that? That's impressive. Okay, wow. Like a hawk. That's amazing. So we owe it to this music to go really deep into the details and to the art of the music, right? And that means that, like, for example, in orchestras sometimes you have those conductors that just like stop all the time. They're just like, they stop you like, no, wrong, stop. And you're like, this is so annoying. But then you get to the concert and it's like you have money in the bank. Like you've plumbed the depths of that piece, so then you can really be free and improvise in the concert. It's an amazing thing. And so that's the process that you're gonna have with this piece, I think, where if you'll have more time with it, you just wanna get really deep. Ask yourself hard questions like, what do I really want this passage to sound like? What kind of color do I want? How am I going to get that with my bow? How am I going to get that with my vibrato, right? We don't have time to go into all of it today, but I want to do some. But I think remembering that like, this isn't really about like Kate the violinist. This is about Kate the artist and Kate the person who loves music more than will I execute this in a good violinistic way? We get into that, right? We get into this like, performing is almost a stunt, and it's like, how well will I execute my plan with this piece, you know? But it's not that. You're creating this incredible artistic space for other people. Luckily, you get to do it with the violin. It's like it happens to be the medium, it happens to be piano and violin, but it could be almost anything, right? Okay, so the beginning, I think this is really important to notice, right? The beginning is forte. What's the loudest dynamic of the piece?
Fortissimo.
Fortissimo, yes ma'am. And it's fortissimo molto fuocoso, like with tons of force, right? So the beginning, I actually don't think it's forceful.
Okay.
I think it's like sort of waves. It's uneasy, maybe. But you're not totally sure like if it's disaster yet. It's not like crazy, right? So I would love for you just to find a rich, beautiful sound and show the contour and like play longer phrases just in general. Anytime you accent something, it's gonna chop the phrase a little bit. So see if you can and you don't have to show it all at once. Like you can play within yourself. Did you get to see Augustin Hadalik when he came?
Yes.
So good.
With the new bronze guitar too.
Yes, and his incredible, just everything about him. Anyway, what I love about his playing is he's able to stay within himself somehow. Like he's always in control, and there's actually this power in that. Like he gets this deep kind of power that goes all the way to the back of the hall, and you just feel it, that he's like, it's contained in a way that's like, gives him power to share it. It's weird, I'm trying to explain it, but that's kind of what I want at the beginning here. You don't want to be like, everything you have. Try that, beginning. good. Okay, good, good. Yeah, so what if I'm hearing... So you're doing a beautiful kind of catch and release, but it's kind of breaking up the phrase. What? So if you keep the bow speed a little bit more consistent, just try that once, just that first note. Yes, perfect. Yeah, all the way. So we have to be really strategic about how we use our bow. I love that stroke, that being able to catch and release if it's right for the phrase. But right here, we need that to go all the way. So keep your bow speed a little more consistent. Then we get the whole phrase, right? Try it one more time with the piano. Sustain. Yes. Amazing. Great. So this is a place where you are like a modern queen, Kate, just totally unflappable. Instead of ya-da-da-da, ya-da-da-da, bum-ba-da-da-da. This is easy, I'm Kate, it's easy, you know. There's going to be plenty of time for drama and like later. But right here, it's just sing it. Sing the whole thing. It's already totally like, I don't know, it shakes up the audience so much to hear that piano part at the beginning, period, right? Okay, let's jump to another spot if we have time. How much time do I have, David? Like no time? 2 minutes. Okay. In that case, let's see. So then you have it in fortissimo. Right? It's still similar, nice slow bow. I really want to catch this What do you think about this passage? What's this passage about? Like, describe it musically, describe the mood, descriptive adjectives.
I can feel it, but I can't.
Yeah, it's hard to put it in words. Yeah. Well, we have some clues. It says poco più lento. It says a little slower, just a little bit slower. And it says molto dolce. I can't speak. Molto dolce. Okay. So play it with me once, Denise. I want you to listen to the piano part with it. It's at 4. Sorry. I'm like, read my mind, please.
That's okay. Is that
Big.
just before G?
Big 4. Oh, different.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
Different. Never mind. It's okay. So it's, I think it's the first one. So again, it's kind of my theme for the day. Pay attention to your bow speed. I just played this concert with this wonderful cellist, Michael Cannon. He's the head of chamber music at Peabody. Excellent chamber musician. And he was saying how when he went and had lessons with the amazing cellist Janos Starker, it was later in his life, he was his master's degree, and it was the first time that a teacher had really taught him about bow distribution, like bow division. And he was like, you know, when you have 4 notes, use 4 part of bow. Like it was, and he was like, wow, that's amazing. So if you really think here of actually dividing in, you're going to get this incredible atmosphere, right? And it's, you know, maybe we could use words like it's tender, it's mysterious at the same time. That's why it's hard to come up with them, right? Because it's like, there's probably no word for it, but tender, mysterious, pensive, right? Try it once there. Good, beautiful. Okay, good, beautiful. Okay, so you chose, that was great bow division. You chose a contact point. Very close to the bridge. What if... Try a little less weight and a little like third, fourth lane instead of second lane. Again. Even. A little more. Yeah. Yes. That's incredible. That's beautiful. So this piece requires some serious thought about your bow division, right? To decide, because some of these colors, it's a little bit like Michelle too, some of these colors are so hard to get and they're over such a long period of time that your slower bow and really beautiful bow division is going to give you the chance to make those phrases. And then it's A, E, B, always enough bow, right? Okay, bravo. Great job. Beautiful. 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 Hey, Savannah, this is so fun to hear this whole sonata like this. I love it. So awesome. right, Serena. Great. How did you feel?
Good.
Good?
Yeah.
Felt good? Okay. I think this movement for me is maybe the hardest one to kind of find what it's about and to I don't know, to get into the proper mood, because it changes so much, and it's this recitative, which means that there's a lot of freedom to it, right? And so I think one of the main things I want to think about is the tempos that you choose. I feel like choosing the right tempo completely will change the kind of mood and approach that you take to the piece, right? So like if you play this beginning, if you play it pretty on the slower side, it really changes how you'd use your bow. If you use it on a little on the faster side, so let's experiment a little bit with tempo. Can we try the beginning again? And I'd like for you to think just a little bit more, let it flow a little bit more. Like you're saying it to somebody, you're telling a story, okay? Okay, good. I like that already. If you go with a slightly more upbeat tempo, then it makes taking time more expressive, right? If you're already really slow, then you're like, oh, I'm gonna take time here. So maybe a little bit more momentum. Take your time. Then you can really take time, make those moments magical. Try it again, same thing, but feel this like it's one whole big gesture that you're doing here. It really is, right? It's like 8 measures of just one big thing. So take that beautiful tempo, but then feel like, oh, I can savor this moment. I can savor this moment. Try it. You don't even need the piano. It's okay. Just go. Yeah. Good. That one needs to be, we always need to know what the rhythmic value is though. So it needs to be very clear that it's 1, 2, 3, da, da. You can be flexible, but you can't turn a half note tied to an eighth note into a quarter note tied into an eighth note, right? You gotta keep it the same. Yeah? Good. Seems a little loud. It says molto diminuendo, right? So. It's pretty fast, right? Beautiful. Okay, now I'm going to be why not just be super picky for a little bit? Can we do that? Okay. So I think that kind of shift, make sure it's tucked in. I'm not sure that's a really expressive moment. It's a little bit cleaner. And then the beginning. You're here in your bow. When you switch over to the G string, you're here. So you don't need to take it off really high and then go. Just pivot down. Just try this once. Just Yeah. Try it once. Yeah, yeah. Don't be afraid of just letting that weight come up. The great thing about playing the frog is you just don't need your thumb. Like everywhere else, if you want to make a lot of noise, you have to, your index and thumb oppose each other when you pronate. They're not squeezing, but they're opposing each other. But at the frog, you actually don't need it. So right there, it should feel easy if you let it go. Try it. Yeah, good. Just let your arm weight do it. It's a little... Yeah, yeah. Loose fingers, flexible. Nice. Better. Yeah, I think you could practice that and it'd be amazing. One more time. Yes. Woo. Yeah, that was nice. We don't need to be afraid. Yeah. We don't need to be afraid of any kind of chord, up bow to down bow. It's so. And then the opposite. Down bow follows the curve of the bridge. Up bow is a scoop, right? Okay, and now let's practice that little shift. That was much better. Let's try it. Just a little cleaner. Oh, you're doing 1-1? I don't like it. I hate that fingering. Let's do. Try to. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you need it there. There's going to be plenty of spaces for schmaltzy slides. That's probably not one. We want the gesture. Da 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 ya, da da da. Okay. Yeah, so every time you have largamente, find that tempo, okay? And then when you get to B, just really find, like, enjoy. It almost felt like you weren't sure what tempo you were in. Just enjoy it, luxuriate in your tempo that you chose, okay? The tranquillo, same thing. The that's hard. I think you could just go a little faster and just feel like it's flowing. Everything in this needs to flow a little bit more. Okay, beautiful job. Beautiful job. Gorgeous. Beautiful. It's such a weird exercise to do a 20-minute lesson. It's so odd. Because normally it's like at least 45 for me, sometimes an hour, sometimes an hour and a half. And like you get into a flow and then you can do such different things, but it's still fun. I'm really grateful. Okay, you need the stand?
No.
No,
You want my
okay.
music, or is
I've
that-
got this one's fine. Yeah,
Okay,
that's great.
perfect.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah. like we should bring all 4 out and then do one down. But anyway, you guys, it's so amazing to hear all of you playing this beautifully, just beautiful intonation, beautiful sound, musicality, all of you. Really, really wonderful. Just high level of playing, and credit to your teacher, but of course to all the work that you guys do. It just takes so much work. I just had the thought, like, these are not kids that are on screens all day, obviously. You know, you guys are doing amazing things. So congratulations and bravo to you. Okay. What do you like most about playing this piece, Isabel?
I love like the different sections and being able to like phrase it. Like, I don't know, I like the emotion that comes in this piece.
Great emotion, great contrasts, right, from section to section. If you had to use a descriptive adjective or any kind of just describe the beginning, the feeling you get when you play that first.
I kind of think like airy.
Airy, okay.
I don't know, also since I but like dreamlike.
Great, yeah.
But also trying to like keep it moving, I don't know, at the same time.
Yeah, it has some motion to it, doesn't it? You kind of feel it. And actually, when you do hear this piece all the way through, when you get to the last movement, you're really grateful for the motion, actually, because that third movement's heavy, you know, it's like really serious and angsty. And then this comes and you're like, oh, everything's going to be okay. You're like, this is all right, you know? He writes dolce cantabile. So dolce is sweet, right? Cantabile is singing. I love that how, you know, composers just give us these clues to what they were thinking, right? And obviously, we're going to have our own emotional reaction and impact when we get a piece. But I love those clues. Sweet is like immediately I think I want some really pretty vibrato, and cantabile to me means I don't have to be too soft. Like I can be a little easier. You know, I don't have to be timid about it. But I also don't think. It's not a real intense sound. So there's my dolce, there's my cantabile. So it's like you need this translator. You need to sort of develop this translator in your head, a Google Translate in your Isabel head, for like, okay, I want to get this kind of emotion. This is what I'm going to do with my bow.
Okay.
And this is what I'm going to do with my vibrato, right? It's like you get better, honestly, you get better and better and better at it the more you use it. So, but a lot of times as a student, you go to your teacher and you say, teacher, I practiced this piece, I'm ready to play it for you. And teacher says, great, play it more this way, right? I'm guilty of that. Play it more this way, right? And that can be really helpful. Sometimes we just don't know and we need to be heard. But I think like, over time, you want to build your own sense of, man, I really want to get this kind of sound. And then you go to teacher and you say, help me get this sound. I'm working on it. I don't quite have it. I don't know if I'm quite where I want it to be, but I really want to get this kind of sound. Can you help me get this kind of sound? You know what I mean? That is a really great place to be. And you're definitely at that point where you can do that. All of you guys are. So I think spending more time, it's almost like taking ownership, a little bit more ownership over your interpretation of the piece. We've kind of talked about that a bunch today, but like, not to say that your teacher might be like, that's a horrible fingering, or I really don't like that phrase, or like that can happen, right? That's okay. That can be really helpful actually at times, but I love this feeling of ownership in a student where they think like, I'm an artist, right? I'm really, at least I'm trying to be. So let's try this beginning here, and I love the words that you used. I want to see if you can translate that more. And same theme. This is another one of these, we've talked about it with the other movements and the students, but this is a really long theme. Like, it's almost like it doesn't start. It's like it's already been going. Not ending. Still going. Has it ended yet? It's just like this meandering, beautiful thing. So your bow speed has to help with that. Okay. If it gets too surgy at any point, we kind of lose that. We think, oh, maybe that is the end of that phrase. But it just keeps going. It's so incredible. It's sort of eternal in a way. Okay. Really awesome. Okay, let's try it again. Isabel, great bow speed, great. Let's try just, this is you. Just take a little weight out, just a little bit of weight. Everything else was great. So, just play that first note. Let's experiment. Yeah, still close to the bridge, but less weight. Yeah, yeah. Maybe it's because I listen to violinists all day, but at some point I hear this high frequency and I'm sort of like, what am I? Like, I wish I played the viola a little bit, you know? No, it's, yeah, I think we need to save this for the right moment, you know? That, you're gonna have it. You're gonna want it there, but here, no. Okay, I have this other really strong belief that beauty projects. So if you play something with real beauty, even if it's soft, it goes back to the back. People hear it. If it's like, you can just play loud, and actually sometimes that doesn't even project. Like, I think even my teacher Pinchas Zukerman talked about it. Like, when you go to a recording studio, it'll hit the needle, and at a certain point, it just can't take anymore. Like, it won't, the microphone won't be able to take a certain amount of sound, right? And so you're trying to do a lot within sort of a range, right? And at a certain point, you don't want just loud. You want beautiful, right? Beauty is what's gonna project. So. Try it again.
Oh, can I do that again?
Sustain. Loose vibrato. Wait.
Oh.
Anytime you accent, it's gonna break a. No. And I actually think just on a yeah, let's try it. I want to just do an open string with you, Isabel. We're about 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Just try that. As smooth as you can make those bow changes. Good. Try to get flatter hair. So at the frog, you'll tilt away a little bit. With the tip, flat hair. This is my secret recipe for a straight bow. It's really hard to play with a straight bow if you do this, or with a crooked bow. Yes. Yes, good. Now, one, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2.
Stay trying to be on flat.
Flat, except balance point to the frog. You'll tilt away from you a little bit, but other than that, beautiful flat hair. Yeah. Less weight. Less weight. Float. 2, 3. Yes. Beautiful. Yes. Don't surge. Yes, open it up. Now it's forte. Drop a little bit. Yes. Fortissimo. Beautiful, Isabel, beautiful, yeah. We have to kind of outsmart ourselves sometimes. We're like, I want to be expressive.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you're like, wait, I just need to move the bow back and forth. Just back and forth. And I need to have really beautiful bow division. And then I need to hear this phrase how I want the whole phrase. Because we get stuck in, we only have two bows, up bow and down bow. That's it, that's all we got. And sometimes I'm at a violin recital, I'm like, man, all we have is up and down. That was like a lot of up bows and down bows. But when you play like this, it's not up bow and down bow. It's the phrase, right? And we're not really aware, you know? But if it's da ya da 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 da, we kind of kick it, or we surge when we don't need to, or don't mean to, especially. Like if it's on purpose, that's great. So this movement, it's everywhere, right? It's everywhere that you're gonna wanna just kind of find that beauty. And then, yeah, think more about, you play with such passion and fire, Isabel, and I'd love for you to explore medium dynamics, especially. Like it's easy to play really loud and really soft, but there's a huge world in those mezzo pianos, mezzo fortes that I want you to explore and feel good about. But bravo, great work. Yeah, bravo, bravo, bravo. Yeah. Great, thank you, everybody. Yeah.
Let's applaud Denise now.
Yes.
So if anybody
Yes.
has any questions about violin playing or BYU or anything like that, auditions.
Yeah, Michelle.
I'm in a situation where I'm like accepted. Like, how do you guys determine who like goes to what teacher? And like, do you prefer like, would you want us to like put an RSA, or is that like, no?
Usually, yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to know, but we're juggling a lot of different things, and so we do decide the studio assignments, and then, but we're also like, Monty and I are super collaborative, and so we've had many moments where it's like, you know what, let's switch this up, or sometimes we've been like, hey, even before we've said, why don't we do 2 years with me and 2 years with you, or you know, we'll switch around, that kind of thing. So it doesn't hurt to let us know if you're like leaning, but usually we just kind of have to make assignments because it's I don't know, it's tricky, but yeah, we're open, and we don't hurt each other's feelings very easily. Like we've worked together for 15 years, so it's not like offensive if like, oh, I want to study with you, Monty. Like we're collaborative. We want the best for you guys, and so yeah. Anyway, hopefully that's helpful. Yeah.
I only heard part of her question, but I am also curious, like, what's the right way to like approach it? You know what I mean? To like, you shoot both teachers an email.
I would shoot the teacher that you're interested in studying with an email and just say, I'm wondering if there's room in your studio. And then that teacher can say, yes, that's going to work out this semester. Actually, you're going to be in the other studio. It's going to be great. and we'll make sure that we, you know, think about things in the future, because there are moments where we can be like, hey, like both of us have done it, where I've been like, you know what, I think you need a different voice, and it would be great, or even if like everything's going great, like I think it'd be awesome for you to go study with Monty for a year or two and get ready for your next recital with him, and vice versa. We've done both that. And of course, like teacher-student relationships are all about trust. It's a really important thing, and gaining that trust is important. I also feel like no matter who you study with, I tell my students all the time, I was a horrible student during my undergrad. I was not good, in the sense that like I had a hard time buying in to what my teachers were saying. I always thought, I'm telling you guys to be really independent artists and stuff. I was too independent. I was like, really thought I had this great thing. And then I at some point I realized like, oh my gosh, all of my teachers are trying to get me to do the same basic things. And I need to like wake up to it, and I need to buy in more. And even if I disagreed with something. If I had bought in more, I would have learned 30 times as much and been ready for like the next step, whatever it was. So I think that's a big part of it, is learning how to be a good learner, how to be a good violin student, because it's hard. It's hard to be a violin student. You're getting feedback in the moment after thinking you play great. They're like, you don't play great. And you're like, what? And then you have to change it in front of them. Like that's a really hard thing to do. I actually have lessons with my wife, Aubrey, sometimes lessons, but I play for her before concerts just to remind myself how hard it is to have a lesson. Like, it's tricky. So yeah, I think just in general, whether or not you end up with the teacher you want, if you buy in and try to get as much as you can from that teacher, even if you're like, I don't understand this, it can be really helpful. I also think almost every teacher you have will appreciate feedback. If you're not understanding something, they want to know. I know that's true for me. If you don't agree with something I'm asking you to do, same thing with Monty, I want to know, because then that gives me 20 different ways to explain it and to pitch it to you, actually. Like, that's kind of part of my job. It's like, you know why you should play with a straight bow? Because you make a better sound. You know, like I can go with a bunch of different reasons. So anyway, that's a lot of stuff. But I do think like it's a two-way street with this violin student thing. And definitely at BYU, we're really working hard to make sure that the communication channels are open. So that, because I had moments where I was just like, again, not buying in, but I wasn't telling my teacher. I was just kind of being a stinker, you know, just kind of like, okay, and then I wouldn't practice it, or I'd go do something else. And I missed out, I think, on like some years where Pinchas Zukerman is a great example. I studied with him for 2 years, and I've actually apologized to him in person about this, that I wasn't buying in like I should have, because I got so much from those 2 years studying with him. But it wasn't until like 7 years later that I realized, I was like, oh my gosh, like all these things he taught me are like fundamental to how I play the violin now. Like they're massive. And if I had like been a little bit more open to things in the moment, I think I would have progressed faster. So
I just want to also add my 2 cents to that, which is like, I think I had a pretty similar experience with the buy-in, and it's just like, I don't know what the point of it is, right? Like, your goal when you go to school is to get as much information out of your teacher's head into your own head. And the time for deciphering, like, you do want to discern, right? You want to be smart about like, what do I agree with, what don't I agree with, but you don't want to do that in the moment. You just want to try everything that they give you. And you want to give it like the full chance. And you just want to make the most of that like incredible gift that you have for that short period of time of having this masterful violinist give you feedback, right? And so if you're questioning it, it's just like really counterproductive, and it doesn't help anybody.
because you will get to the point after school where you'll have to decide, how do I want to play? Like,
And a bunch of teachers will tell you different stuff, right? So they can't all be right. You have to kind of decide what you're going for, but the time for doing it is later, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Everybody's like, I'm not going to answer a question now because that took 20 minutes to answer. So, you guys sound great. It's always a pleasure to come here and work with you. And just maybe a parting thought. Maybe I shared this in the class, but I feel like one of the things with violin, and you guys all seem well adjusted, and it's not just to be a problem, but one of the traps that you can fall into is feeling like violin defines you. Like you're defined by being a violinist. And that's actually a pretty dangerous thing to think about yourself and to use an identity, because being a violinist can easily be taken from you. Like, I had a period of time in my life where I had an injury. It was complicated, but I couldn't play. And it was emotionally really hard to suddenly not do that, because that was who I was. I was a violinist. But so if you can define yourself not by what you do, but what you love, it's really different. Because sometimes it's hard to differentiate between who you are and what you do. But I think you can definitely differentiate between what you do and what you love. So I now don't really identify as a violinist, but I'm somebody who loves music. I just love music, right? And whether or not that means I go watch a lot of concerts and partake of it that way, or I'm involved in a concert, it actually isn't that different for me. And I go watch, for example, my wife Aubrey, who's going to do a class here in a month or two, I think. I go hear her play at the ballet, and I love it. I'm enthralled by going to be a listener, you know? And tonight I get to play with Utah Symphony. I'll be enthralled to get to play, but it's actually different. Like, I have to really focus tonight, and I won't be able to enjoy it actually the same way as when I go listen, you know? So loving music and continuing to have that love, cultivate that love, is what's gonna get you better in the long run, instead of being sort of a music jock, you know, or like having it be this thing that's like, this is everything for me. Like, if it is everything for you right now, it's time to get some other things that are important in your life. It really is. For me, I thought I was pretty balanced before this experience I had. I wasn't balanced enough. I needed to get more balance in my life and have other things that were really, really important. That doesn't mean you can still have tons of rigor and tons of practice time and all that stuff. But being a whole, complete person means that you've got other things that are important to you, right? So, and that you love, and that you define yourself by that stuff. So, thank you guys. Appreciate it.